Hello, NAAIA community. Get ready to relive insightful discussions, gain fresh perspectives, and be inspired by the wealth of knowledge our community has to offer. Let's dive into another episode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our latest installment of NAAIA's Executive in Residence series for our next program, a nationwide cohort of mentors, mentees, and chapter leaders. My name is Achilles Smith, Leadership Program Manager here at NAAIA, and today we're here to talk about networking beyond happy hours. This month, you might have seen that June's topic is on networking and building meaningful professional connections. Building community, even one for your career, goes beyond happy hours and a few drinks with a handful of colleagues. This section is designed to create authentic connections and learn from others in a less formal setting, like a mentorship. The monthly topics we present are a direct result of community feedback and our strategic programmatic roadmap. Whether you are just beginning in your career development or looking to expand your knowledge and connections, our programming is designed to be a platform to help you grow both professionally and personally with our cultivated content. The Executive in Residence series is one of many NAAIA opportunities to join, serving as a tailored venture in addressing the call for storytelling and multifaceted executive access. Our next Executive in Residence speaker is Leonardo Dionicio. Leonardo is Vice President of Technology Foundation at Sun Life US, a real cybersecurity insurance pioneer. He is a seasoned tech leader with deep expertise in IT and security. Leonardo spent nearly 16 years at Travelers before joining Sun Life. Based in New York, Leonardo is known for building strong partnerships across business and technology teams, driving innovation while fostering inclusive leadership. He brings energy, clarity, and purpose to every challenge, and always makes time to lift others as he climbs. He's passionate about mentoring the next generation, especially those from diverse backgrounds. Off the clock, he's a dedicated baseball coach, hitting instructor, and proud dad of 4 NCAA Division I athletes. Interviewing Leonardo today is Logan Cheadle. Logan is a seasoned leader in employee benefits with over 7 years of experience helping organizations strengthen their outside sales and employee benefits design. Currently, he is a senior group representative at Aflac. He specializes in voluntary benefits and enrollment solutions that drive results for brokers and clients alike. Beyond his corporate role, Logan serves as the executive board of NAAIA Dallas Fort Worth as Emerging Leaders Chair and is an active member of Dallas HR. Logan is known for his commitment to equity, mentorship, and building stronger, more inclusive workplaces. We encourage you to freely message in the chat and add your questions in the Q&A tab as well. With that, we welcome Logan and Leonardo.
What's up, Achilles? You got us? Good. Well, Achilles, thanks for the introduction. And good morning or afternoon to everyone, depending on where all you all reside. We're really looking forward to this conversation. I think, we often hear that networking is key to career growth, but what's rarely talked about is how to build those meaningful relationships, especially mainly when the traditional advice doesn't necessarily fit your role. So I'm certainly honored to be joined by someone who's built an incredible career in tech and insurance with a journey that's anything but conventional. So we'll dig right in. And Leonardo, let's start with your journey. You didn't take a traditional path into insurance. Can you walk us through how you evolved into a career in tech and insurance?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So yeah, my path hasn't been anything but traditional. I started as a baseball player. I hail from the Dominican Republic. Didn't make it as a baseball player. Don't ask me why. You can ask me later, but don't ask me now. But I always had this passion for computer and math. When I stopped playing baseball, I decided to go to school here. My English wasn't that good, so I'm glad that my passion was math and computer, because if you think about it, those are universal languages. So when
Yeah.
I went to school, after those majors too, my goal was to work in a technology company, like, name it Intel, Microsoft, Google. I'm talking about 1999, 2000. But that wasn't the case. When I graduated, a lot of company came looking for employee. 2000 was a really good year for the job market. The insurance company that I joined, it's named Travelers Insurance. They have a rotational program called ITLDP, IT Leadership Rotational Program, which I thought was perfect for me. I decided to join and do different things every year, right? Like application development, web development, database development. Then I moved into something that we call infrastructure, firewall, router, switches, security, data center. And I loved it.
Yeah.
When I joined the school, I thought that IT was only gonna be for IT company, the Google, the Facebook, and everything. But then I realized that every company today is an IT company, and that's how I came to work in an insurance company.
Absolutely, it is. That's awesome. And Leonardo, you mentioned, arriving and barely being able to speak English and being able to maybe communicate through math and some of these other deals. When you were just starting out, maybe feeling like an outsider in a new environment, who helped open the door for you, and how did that connection come about?
That's a really good question. And the answer is going to be conventional for some and weird for others.
Okay.
God is the person that have been helping me from the beginning, right? So, not knowing the language and just applying for college, not having my parents here or anybody, I feel looking back that I have been divinely guided throughout my whole career. And that got me into school, that got me the job without knowing anybody, and that got me progressing through the ladder. However, there are always people that help you. And it wasn't at the beginning of my career, it was when I was a director. I met this person, a mentor that was assigned to me, actually two. And once again, God, putting things in my place. Two mentors. One, a guy in the company that I used to work for that was completely different than me. When I say completely different, imagine that, completely different. Race, personality, everything. And I think that was awesome because, it allowed me to see my career and life from a different perspective, right?
Yeah.
I early on I learned that you have to be really careful, always to just like associate with people that think and are like you. Diversity is pretty important, right? So that was one. The second mentor also, just you happen to be a female, but we have a lot of things in common. She was Puerto Rican as well, and she actually opened my mind to things that I never thought before. I give you one example just to keep it short
Nice.
here. She told me, like, you are really good at what you do. You have been working in this company for so long, but I don't want you to become an expert in one company. Like you have to take your skill and like LeBron James, bring it to South Beach, right?
Yeah.
Do something like that. That opened my mind because I don't know if it's something that I have in my DNA or a lot of people have in their DNA. We are too loyal. Like I never wanted to leave that company. I thought that they were treating me really well, and they were, right? I heard
Yeah.
a lot of people leaving and returning and coming back and saying, oh, the grass isn't greener in the other side. So I
Yeah.
kind of fit into that and never wanted to leave. But let me
Mm.
tell you one thing, the grass is greener in the other side, right? And I'm glad that she put that in my mind because it
Yeah.
allowed me to become more of a free agent and explore different things. So she was good for
Yeah.
my career.
Yeah, no, you bring up a really good point there too, Leonardo, with how you set up your network, right? And intentionally seeking out, or maybe it happened through God's divine action that you end up having an initial mentor that was completely different from you. And I could see how that would help a ton. But just kind of taking back to the title of today's session of networking beyond happy hours. So for somebody like yourself, who I know has a family and family responsibilities, or maybe some of us that just have a packed schedule or social anxiety, like what are some ways that we can build meaningful professional connections outside of the traditionally expected happy hours?
Thank you. Like if anybody want to learn something from me, like my networking path also is unconventional. I can define myself not being that person that purposely go to a place to network. I'm not that person that say, oh, there's this conference, this thing, let me go there and just meet people for my own purpose, right? You talk about social anxiety, and I know we have a conversation before. I never attach anything like negative to me. I don't say that I have social anxiety, but I'm gonna say one thing about myself, and I've been finding out a lot of people are like that. I can define myself as a antisocial butterfly, right? Some people are antisocial, other people are social butterfly, and
Yeah.
it's got something on me. Like sometimes I'm an introvert, another time I'm a complete extrovert. I go, even though I decide not to go to networking event, when I go to places, I attract people. People just seem to come to me all the time, and that's good. And then my children play sport, and sometimes when I go to those sport events, even parents from other teams just come and talk to me, and I try to hide and go to the bleachers. But now, during the pre-interview, I mentioned that in my whole career, I think I have been that in less than 20 happy hours. I wasn't a happy hour person. Number one, my children were my priority. I was always after work spending time with them. However, I find out that a byproduct of networking is like, you just have to be near people. You just have to be yourself. You just have to be someone that is a pleasure to be with. I'm not saying like a joker or someone always like being funny, but someone that had like genuine, organic conversation with people. And that leads to a lot of networking. Let me give you one example. When I put my two children, my younger, in baseball, the coaches didn't know that I was a baseball player. I was just a parent there. And I saw the coaches doing something that we don't do in the Dominican. Can you walk with me? Like, I don't see myself anymore. Yeah, I want this. Yeah. So I offer my services to help the coach. And from that point forward, I became the coach. All the parents were like, oh my God, this guy can throw strike. This guy know how to swing, this and that. It just happened that other parents on that team were like the CEO, not the CEO, but he was like high executive in another company. It was like every parent in that team were people that were higher up in other company, and just we became friends first. Then we became kind of acquaintances, right? Like open the door. You'd be surprised many times that I've been with CIO and CEO in company that want me to work from them, primarily from things that they saw me doing in a baseball field or in a soccer field with my daughter. So that was an unconventional way of getting network.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's a great example, Leonardo. Speaking of, I guess, being an antisocial butterfly, my laptop wanted me to be antisocial, and I backed out for a second of the Zoom meeting. So apologies on that. But just kind of building off of that, talk to me a little bit about outside of that story. Do you have any advice specifically, maybe for somebody like myself who is an introvert, or somebody out there that might struggle with small talk or self-promotion and helping get out of that shell? Because I do think you have a unique perspective with maybe being an antisocial butterfly. What are some other things, I guess, you do to kind of help yourself in those situations?
The universe is amazing because last week I was speaking. They asked me to speak to the intern this year,
Yeah.
the company. And an intern asked me the same question. So I answered that question based on the perspective of that intern, right? I don't know. I can see the audience. I don't know who's in the audience, but I'm gonna just to keep it consistent, I'm gonna answer the question the same way. I told that person, listen, if you're an introvert, there's no need for you to change. There's nothing wrong with that, right? If you're an extrovert, there's nothing for you to change, because I'm a first believer that authenticity is the higher form of vibration. When you are authentic about who you are, you don't need anything else, right? Since I like to talk a lot of story, let me tell you this thing. For this particular session that we are having right now, I was extremely happy because they invited me, and then we have a pre-session, and we were supposed to have another pre-session, and I say, if this is supposed to be something about authenticity, I don't think that we should be rehearsing anything. And here we are. We are not
Right.
rehearsing anything. So that's part of the answer to you, right? What advice do I have? Like, just from my perspective, once again, I don't like to tell people what to do, but from my perspective, I'm really happy when I'm an introvert, and I'm really happy when I'm an extrovert. Just like, use it to your advantage. There are like particular fields, there are particular periods during the day that you have to be an introvert, and other places when you have to be an extrovert. However, don't let any of those particular signs stop you. And now I'm remembering what I told this intern too. Sometimes we assign personality to ourselves, but sometimes that's not in our DNA. That's like limiting belief that we have inherited, right? I have 4 children, and they are all kind of different. But in the end, you can see things that they do equally. And I know that those are traits that they have inherited from me, that I inherited from my father, that my father inherited from their parents, right? So we have to be careful sometimes on assigning a particular personality, because sometimes it's a limiting belief that can prevent you from going to places where we want to go.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that, Leonardo. One thing that I fully believe as well, and I'm taking some notes here, is number one, be authentic. People are attracted to authenticity, and I completely agree with you that. So no matter what your personality style is, show up as yourself and don't try to be anybody else, right? That's what kind of comes off odd. But also, don't limit your beliefs of yourself. If you think you're only this, you can only be that, right? So allow yourself to continue to grow. But I also think there's an awesome opportunity for people, just like in anything else, whether it's networking, whether it's sports, which I know you've been very involved in and coaching, to put yourself in a position to grow, right, to be better. And it brings up to me something really profound that you mentioned when we connected a couple weeks ago, and you said that you do a lot of article reading, that you dive into online studies as technology is consistently changing, and it's just really important for you to know, where your competitors were doing, is I believe how you framed it. So can you kind of talk a little bit to us about how you're maybe using that information to learn and to grow your network?
Yeah, good question. All your questions are really good, Logan. So it is
Thanks.
important
Keep it
because it is really important, because if people want to network, the more you know, the more prepared you are to carry on conversation, right? Like I say, like I remember one time, one of my daughter's soccer game. Once again, I'm telling you, all of these sports here are so expensive. So the people that go there, they have to have money to afford them. So I started talking to this guy, and he started talking about Goldman Sachs. And I happen to know a lot about Goldman Sachs, right? Who the CEO was at the time, what they do, everything. And I'm talking to the guy, and he's like going like, who are you, right? So that's one thing. I go to a barber shop, full of Dominican, loud Dominican. I don't know, those of you that know Dominican, we are loud, happy people, right? And I get down to conversation with them, right? Like we talk about baseball, the Yankees, the NBA. We talk about things. You'd be surprised. Like I went to the barber shop too, like 2 years ago. This guy, I'm taking a haircut. Actually, no, I'm bald, but I just shave my beard, right? For those of you wondering. The guy talking about ChatGPT and AI and all of that stuff. And I loved it, and I joined the conversation. So reading, being prepared, like what they say, like luck is when opportunity meets preparation, right? So
Yep.
all of those reading, all of that stuff, I love doing it for my own pleasure, my own entertainment. But it's like everything is connected. Like you go and carry a conversation with anybody, you can talk about NFL, NBA, MLB, hockey, AI, Wall Street, future trading, option trading, all of those things. That's what it does, is expand your range of knowledge and your ability to connect, because everything is connected in the universe.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think it shows initiative on trying to be educated in your field, or just the things you're interested about, and how that also relates over to networking and connecting with people, making connections. I think one of the best advice I ever got was be an interesting person, right? Live interesting experiences, and it makes those conversations easier to flow. But also, as it comes to being prepared for what you're getting into and just investing in your own professional development, right? As someone Leonardo, who likely gets approached for advice often, what do you look for in a mentee, or what do you look for in someone that you go out of your way to help, just like maybe your initial mentor sought you out to help you?
Wow. I'm gonna repeat it. Good question again, Lovey.
Yes.
I saw a meme that said that when somebody say good question, the people who ask always go like, I don't care about the answer. I just gonna enjoy that you say good question,
Love
good
it.
question. Um, so desire, passion, right? Everything. I
Yeah.
have a lot of people that I'm mentoring right now. Different age group, different ethnicity, different everything, and I can read it. Like this one really wants or decide what they want, this one doesn't. You know what I mean? Some
Yeah.
people out of this particular session today, they're gonna go inspired. Oh my God, I wanna do this, and that. But then 2 weeks later, it's gonna wind down. Other people, the minority, they're gonna be like, I'm listening. I wanna do this, I wanna do that. So I
Yeah.
look for desire. One thing that I learned too, I learned it with my children too. I don't feed them everything. So they have to have some type of passion. I just open the right door for them, but then they need to walk the path, right? I have a friend one day that he say, for anyone interested, I want a second source of income in my life. Say, okay, let me show you about trading. This is something that I don't talk to a lot of people. And I said, like, take all of this YouTube video, learn all of that stuff. Came back to me, I show him more stuff. Then I took him under my wing and showed him a lot of stuff. Now that person is teaching me, right?
Yeah.
So always looking forward to help people is really my passion. Like I don't want to leave this world without helping anyone. So that's what I'm looking for: passion, tenacity,
Mhm.
discipline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Balance. I'm not asking people like renounce everything that they do and just do what we're working on. I like people. My personality is pretty broad. I do everything, you believe it or not. So I ask my children to do the same thing: have fun, go out, dance, go swimming,
Yeah.
travel, and then also dedicate time to become better at anything that you do.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think that's so relatable to Leonardo, just in my past in sports and in business as well. I've heard it time and time again. A lot of great leaders will tell me over and over again, they'll take somebody that's gritty and tenacious and has a desire over somebody that's uber talented, right? So I think it's a great reminder to make sure we're carrying those characteristics and character traits into mentorship and how we seek out mentors, because to your point, if you give somebody some information or an opportunity to take advantage of something, but then the next time you connect with them, they haven't done this thing, it kind of shows you, hey, they're not willing to put in the work to get where we get. It seems like a bit of a dead end for me. So coming off of the sports references though, Leonardo, I know you shared a little bit about you connecting through sports. And that's something that's really interesting to me as well. I think maybe some people in our audience have played sports at some point, right? Can you maybe share with us some of the key characteristics or traits that you learned through sports or that you teach, your students or athletes through sports that are translatable into business?
Yes. Unconventional too. People say that there's no I in team, but there's I in team. You have to have an ego,
So there's
right?
an I in
Yeah,
win, right?
there is I in team. I mean, there's particular play where you need to be a team player, right? Like Kobe didn't like to pass it and things like that.
Yeah.
But you have to be a team player. But like sometimes something that I hear, especially in baseball, like people criticizing a player for being selfish, right?
Mm.
Like let's say Manny Ramirez, one of the best right-handed hitter in baseball ever. Oh, he's too selfish. Give me 9 selfish hitters like Manny Ramirez. What I mean is give me 9 selfish person that are putting their best, for them. Because when you do the best for you, you do the best for the team, right? So what I learned is like what you see during the game is a result of the many practice that you took, like that nobody saw. You know what I mean? So when I
Right.
talk to my children, some of you saw, those of you that read my bio, I didn't plan it this way. My 4 children received D1 athletic scholarship, right, or offer, because one of them didn't get a scholarship because she went to Yale. But it was like train when nobody's watching. You know what I mean? Like, let's go. Sometimes I used to go at night and train with my children. I wasn't a dictator. I was just waiting for them to tell me, hey, daddy, let's go throw some long toss or let's kick some soccer, which I never played soccer in my whole life. And those are the things that I learned in sport. Like you have to sharpen your skill in order to make the team better. So I in the group of people or the side of the table, maybe I'm by myself, that there's an I in team. You have to be selfish, you have to be willing to do your best. So when you go to the game, you can pass the ball, you can shoot the ball, you can hit the home run, you can do all of that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I think the I in team, what I hear from that too is, take care of yourself first and lead by example. I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm from the show me state, Leonardo. So if I ever have a leader that's telling me to do something, but they're walking a different path, that they don't have influence over me, right? So I think that's an awesome example from sports as well as in business that you got to take care of yourself and work on your craft, which also I think feeds back to the professional development too. Like do the things necessary to be good, and it spreads, right? Okay, Erica, shout out to Missouri and our St. Louis friends. But anyway, so just kind of moving on from that, Leonardo, you've had a tremendous amount of success, and you've done it in an unconventional way. However, I also know that this success didn't happen without faulting at some point, right? We all have challenges and we got to learn from them. So, can you kind of maybe describe for us a time when you faced a challenge specifically to building your network, and how did you navigate those challenges?
Yes. Once again, the interns asked me the same question last week, and I'm gonna go to the same example because
Okay.
what I learned last week is when you go back in memory, when it
Yeah.
was that time, you feel it, and I don't want to feel that.
Yeah.
So let me put it this way: yeah, like anybody else, I have had my tough time, right? But that's when I learned the most. Like most people call it like hitting rock bottom, but for me, like my rock bottom is like I'm still making like six figure. I'm still doing good in the company, but something was going really wrong. I could lose my job at that time. So it was really rough. Like something that I learned at that time, just to speed up and without going to that vibration, it's
Yeah.
like I found out a lot about me. Like I always been naturally like a nice person, really cool, really nice. Always expecting the best from other people. But at that point, I was betrayed, and he awakened a side of me that was dormant. Like I'm also freaking strong, like physically in the outside and even more in the inside. So that introvert and that nice part of me like came out, and the lion of me. My name is Leonardo, right? So the lion of me came out. So like most people say, and many books that you read say, everybody go through dark time in their life, and that was a tough one. But it made me like, you know, analyze myself, look
Yeah.
back, receive messages from God, and sharpen my skill better, and learn more how to interact with other people, right? Because
Yeah.
yeah, 99% of the people out there are really good, but there's that 1% that you need to be careful with, right? So
Mhm.
even though I'm 99% of the time I'm a really nice person, please do not awaken that 1% because it take over and it's
Yeah.
bad.
No, that's really good. And like learn from the experiences and remember those feelings. And me personally, I can resonate with that, Leonardo, because people often talk about feelings and motivation. And one of the biggest motivators for myself is fear of failure. And so I think when you get a taste of that, to remember what that feeling felt like, right?
Yes.
And try to avoid that. So maybe some sort of memory or place of bringing yourself back to that moment. But outside of that barrier, specifically, you mentioned things like a language barrier. You mentioned being new to an area, and trying to adapt and fit in. And I think, maybe one challenge that a lot of the folks on this call might resonate with is, I guess I just want to ask you, do you feel there are unique challenges to networking as a Black professional specifically? And if so, how do you handle that?
Challenges, yes, they are, right? Because you see a lot of deals are made in a golf course. A lot of deals are
Yeah,
made in places where, unfortunately, we don't have the opportunity. You heard me say before, like those sports that my children play, I invested almost all my salary for my
yeah,
two daughters play soccer, and that's what I met a lot of people. And baseball was easier, but still it's expensive, right? So yeah, there are challenges. Um, but what can I say about that? There are challenges, but we cannot limit ourselves, right? Like,
yeah,
like, like you can find You see, like that other meme that say like treat the CIO, treat the cleaning person with the same respect that you treat the CEO, right, of a company. Like you never know. And even though you don't have to go with that intention, but you never know who you meet at the gym, who you meet at the grocery store. You just like be a good person, be out there, try to be kind, try to help other people. You don't know, like you don't know who's watching. You don't know like who wants you know what I mean? So I think I put no limitation. Yeah, there are some barrier because we have been traditionally kept out from places where the deals are done, but that doesn't prevent us from doing things. Like let me give you one example. Like I was always bothering people. Like I wanted to learn, I'm passionate about trading and all of that stuff. I wanted to learn, like Wall Street market and all of that stuff. And I seeked out people to help me and couldn't find it. And I say, I don't know if I can curse here, but I say, screw it. I was gonna say the F word, but I said, screw it. And I just went and learned myself. Like during the pandemic, I found myself with so much time going to YouTube, going into Udemy, going into places. And I learned a lot of stuff. And last year, just to complete the story, right? Last year, I'm traveling in a different country. And we went to this place where a lot of people go. And I established this conversation with this guy. And this guy told me what he does for a living. I'm like, oh, wow, that's interesting. He's like, he worked at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the CME, which is like the top trading thing. And I just started talking about trading, and the guy, like, his jaw dropped. Like, how do you know all that? I learned it myself. And not only that, I don't trade myself. I just have my algo doing all the trade. The guy immediately asked me for my phone number, like my LinkedIn profile and everything. So this is what I'm trying to say. Just take care of yourself. And everything else is a byproduct of what you're doing internally, right? Like learn stuff, be a good person, be kind, and you won't change. You'll be attracting people to come to you.
Yeah, no, that's good advice. And I think there's a resounding theme in a lot of the advice you've shared. And what I took from that is, it kind of sounded like you said, live life like you're on an interview, right? How people perceive you, but also it's important to have an abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset, right? Even though there may be challenges, don't limit yourself by those challenges. Put in the extra work and be better because of it, which is it's awesome, man. I love it. So your story's been incredible, Leonardo, incredibly rich, and I think it's sparked a lot of ideas for everybody that's been able to join us on the call. So I know it's led to some questions. So let's shift to this Q&A section. So our audience, if you guys have not already, I'm clicking over. Be sure to add your questions in the Q&A tab here at the bottom. And it looks like we already have a few. So first one I see here, Leonardo, is saying, when you haven't done something that a mentor suggested, but it's because you're stuck and not dispassionate, is it appropriate to ask them for help with it?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. And a mentor out here, like I learned that from my mentors, and I learned that from me too. We are willing to help. Yeah, you don't bottle up when you come back and ask for more questions. Actually, that's a pleasure to me.
Yeah. No, I agree with that completely. And I think you find in most times, sometimes when people are stuck and not sure what to do, it creates inaction. And I think that's the worst possible thing, because then people think you're not interested or you're ignoring them. But definitely reach out and ask for help. So thank you for that. Next one I see here is, what is a good way to find out what you have in common with a stranger while you're networking?
Wow. That's a good question. Wow. Why you have in common with a stranger? It's like communication, conversation. It's not always body language, right? Like you see it. Those are things that you perceive. But once you open that communication channel, that's when you figure out, like this example that I just gave you, like we were looking at some tourist attraction, we just started a conversation, and somehow he asked me what you do, and going back to a previous question that you made, the more you know about different stuff, the more diversity of thought and knowledge that you have to establish a conversation and learn more about people. Really good question.
No, that's good. And I'll add on to that and share, something I've been shared a moniker. It was called FOR, I believe, FOR. And if you're ever in those situations for networking and not sure really where to take the conversation, a great starting point is always the F stood for family, and asking somebody and getting to know a little bit about their family and seeing if you can connect in that way. The O is for occupation, as Leonardo alluded to. What do you do? And the R was for recreation. What do you like to do in your free time? What are you passionate about? Those types of things. Those can be good ones to visit when you feel stuck, or a good little acronym maybe to put in your back pocket.
Yeah. Before you
go
go, there's one more thing that I can add. Like, there's one thing that you can take from anybody here is be yourself, be authentic, be happy with yourself. I think one of the phrases that I put in my bio, be selfish about the way you feel. You're looking at right now a person that sometimes go to a wine tasting or whatever type of networking, and I'm the person that go to a corner and try to avoid everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy, enjoying and looking around. And then when I turn around, I have like 3 people next to me. Hey, how you
Coming
doing?
to talk to you. Yeah.
About yourself.
Yeah.
That being yourself is being, what did I say before? Authentic. Is the higher form of vibration. And you're gonna attract as many people as you can without even wanting.
No, I completely agree with that. That's good. So spanning off of that, Leonardo, one of our questions says, specifically, you talk a lot about authenticity, which is really timely here, right? How do you follow up with a new contact without it being awkward?
I typically don't follow up. I don't know. Like, I typically don't follow up. I just live my life. You know what I mean? It doesn't interest. Like, we're gonna find each other again. Like, you pick up, you see, like you pick up a lot of numbers from people, and you never call each other. But then one day something strikes, bam. Society today is like we all supposedly have ADHD. We all have like busy and everything. Sometimes like I wonder, like sometimes my friends say, "Hey, I like to have dinner with you." I say, "Yeah, when? Tell me." I say, my calendar is open every day after 6 p.m. whenever you want. But sometimes you hear them like say, "Oh no, this week I can't. Next week I can't." Like, what is keeping people so busy? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I think I'm the wrong person to answer that question because I just like with contact. That's when my introvert kicked in. I'm like,
and I'll share on that too. On the when it comes to authenticity, I think, Leonardo, you're authentically yourself, which is why it works out so well with the follow-ups. And if people in the situations come back in to occurrence, you connect with them again, you meet back up, right? But one thing that you said earlier that I think is relevant in this situation as well is you do a lot of research and studying and studying top trends on what's happening within your industry and what's going on. But one thing that always is meaningful to me is people reaching out just when something makes them think of me, right? So if you're doing this research, if you're watching Sports Center on the weekend and you think of something, oh, hey, the conversation with this Leonardo guy I met a couple of weeks ago, he mentioned he was a big Red Sox fan and I saw this big trade. Let me just shoot him a text. Hey man, how about that trade, right? Or something related to business. If hey, we had a conversation specifically about this hard market and what's going on with it. Hey, I just saw this. What do you think on it? Right? I think that means a lot to people and just reaching out instead of maybe just asking them for something. Hey, this little thing made me think of you to help build relationship as well.
That's a really good point, right? Like I said, my phone was like blowing away with the Knicks. I'm a Knicks fan, right? Everybody in New York is a Knicks fan. People that I forget completely texted me. And I'm gonna give you another secret. I always had to drop this thing that one of my children was a contestant in Love Island.
No kidding.
And then everybody was texting me like that. People that I completely forgot. Hey, is that your boy? Is that your boy?
Yeah.
Your boy? I'm like, okay, and that was it. Yeah, that's my boy, and that was it. Like you know. So it's cool. Like you can just do a lot of things with just knowledge and be a good person.
Well, now, Leonardo, you said that. Now my wife's going to want to come interview you because her obsession with Love Island. So it's interesting. But it's a good example, man. Here's another one is, can you share a time when you were unable to network but needed to build relationships? What tools or behaviors can we practice when we can make the happy hour? Maybe it can't make the happy hour.
Wow. Tough question. Yeah. I'm gonna repeat myself. Put yourself out there, right? If happy hour is not your thing, put yourself out there. Like volunteer to do things. You know what I mean? I recently volunteered. I became part of the board of 2 nonprofits here. And I met so many people just in the last month. I met so many people lobbying, like bankers, like professional athlete. So put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Like I know we're using happy hour as the anchor here. Go to the happy hour. Enjoy it. If that's the thing that you like. Once again, go back to the thing that you enjoy. Be selfish about the way you think without breaking who you are to satisfy somebody else.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And you mentioning service, Leonardo, on that specifically with the nonprofit boards that you sat on, right? I think and it brings me back to one of the things that has been most impactful for me is in building relationships is instead of maybe just going to a networking event, whether that's NAAIA, if you're a local chapter and you show up monthly to the networking events, if that's another professional organization that maybe you're showing up to monthly or quarterly, get involved, right? It's so much better to build those relationships when you serve alongside people because they get to see how you communicate, how you deal with conflict, right? And you get to build those deeper connections. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So let me clarify that. Thank you for mentioning that, right? Let me clarify that. I belong to a lot of network of professional network, like Shimba, Shipa for Hispanic, MBTA, like a lot of network, right? Like, and I attended that. Like now I'm here, but I started from the bottom. No, I'm just kidding. I went and I enjoyed like conference. My company, because of my previous company, because of my diversity, sent me to a lot of career fair, different colleges, and I loved it, right? Especially what it did to bring more diversity to the company. Don't anchor on the fact that I don't go to happy hour, but I do a lot of networking. Like I became member to a lot of different organizations, different diversity, women, Black, Hispanic, you name it, right? So it is extremely important to do that and to serve.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Here's another question from the audience, Leonardo, that I really like. It says, as someone in tech, how do you balance real relationships with the efficiency of automation and digital follow-up tools?
Oh, the questions are getting tougher and tougher.
Yeah, they get tough, but they're good.
Yeah, a really good question too, right? It's part of continual learning, right? In tech, we cannot develop strategy in tech that go beyond 24 months because it changes so quickly. And only that, this in 2025 alone, the progression of technology have been so dramatic, right?
Yeah, it is.
Boss, please, even if you are not in tech, start learning about AI. Like beyond ChatGPT, go and search Anthropic and use other tools like Claude, right? Like Gemini. So the learning, when I say before that I read a lot of things, that's what hurt me with that stuff. Automation is part of the question. I like to learn a lot. That's what I'm doing over the weekend. And the future that I see for a lot of IT career is like, I'm wondering if it's gonna happen. So it's basically go back. Tough question. I don't know if I answer it in the way that you want me to answer it, but it's basically learning and practicing and seeing. That's what I do at night. I just go and practice with something called NAAIA, MCP. Those are like AI terminology that are not just for the tech industry. They are for like anyone doing social media, anyone doing marketing, anyone doing anything, learn about those things. And as in Nancy, 8, the number N, right? And NCP. Those are things that are really taking over agentic AI. And you don't have to be a technology to do that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Couple more questions here, Leonardo, that I think will kind of help us and maybe in closing, just with some overarching ideology. When I see here is best piece of career advice that you have ever received.
I already mentioned it. It was when that mentor told me, like, don't become an expert in one company. Even if in the same company, move around, right? because he can do it because some companies today are so large. And that's what I did. I joined a program that was rotational, allow me to do application development 1 year, web development the next, networking and security the next, and all of that stuff. So I kept moving around until I get to a stop. Then you say, okay, now you already know all of that stuff. Don't be afraid to move on to another company. I even tell that to people that I mentor that work in this company. If anybody's watching from Sun Life, that's me. That's my authentic self. So seek out opportunity. If you are not getting what you want in the company that you are today, the grass is greener in the other side. I can tell you that.
Yeah, no, that's good. And you mentioned a little bit about Sun Life and you know, your perspective from there. One question that we have here is, can you please share if and how networking helped you land at Sun Life?
Yes. Wow. Let me think about it. Yes. So let me think about how I answer it. I know people. Let me put it this way, because my kindness nature, right? Like I've been in meetings in places, I don't tolerate any abuse in meetings to anybody, especially to minority. Yeah, and I would use the word minority. I do not tolerate any abuse. Like I love to beat up bully, right? Like bully people, right? So I gain a lot of friends by being that way. And that was my authentic self. It just means not tolerating anything. So through that, I met some people and I gained the respect from some other people. And the amount of people that call me after they leave my original company to join their company is big, right? And not only because of that, because also I'm good at what I do. You know, remember, I follow I am always with something good. And it may sound like that I'm cocky or conceited, but I'm good at what I do. So that's one thing. So that network, the unintentional network, right? This is not people that I met in a networking event or anything. These are people that saw me in action on the trenches, right? In meetings, stepping up and defending them or shutting down a bully, which I love doing that, right? Mentally and physically, I love doing that. So I met some people, and those people were always like after me, which is funny. Like somehow, remember someone asked earlier, like, how do you remain in contact with people? Someone asked me to recommend him to a C-level executive in another company. And I just, oh, okay, because there was a job opening. Hey, a person B want to meet you. It's a good person. He's good. I recommend this person. But when person A saw me recommending person B, say, no, it's you that I want. And I didn't even know about that opportunity. You know what I mean? So I'm not even a word or something. I'm helping somebody. Hey, this person I recommend really good. I'm like, oh, now that you get into the conversation, it's you that I want. So you see, networking, just be kind, be helpful, be a good person. Be a good person. Like I think being a good person is better than being a C-level executive. It's better than being a billionaire, anything. Just be a good person. Every night when you go to sleep, just go like, I did a lot of good today for the universe.
I love that. And I do think it stems back to kind of the theme that you've been staying with, Leonardo. It's just being authentic. And in that moment with you trying to help someone and make a connection for someone, it came back to help you, right? Which is kind of how the world works oftentimes, right? So looks like we have one final question here. And that is, Leonardo, if you had to define your networking style in 3 words, what would they be? And how did you develop that approach? They only gave you 3 words to use, so be careful.
Jeez, okay, so I'm just gonna back to memory everything that I just said and put it together. Authentic, kind, respectful.
Authentic, kind, respectful. That's awesome. That's great. Those are great words, and those are some themes that I saw that resonated throughout the whole time. So, Leonardo, thank you so much, man. You shared so many natural gems about showing up, about being authentic, about self-improvement, working hard, and creating your own version of what networking looks like. And I think for our mentors and mentees, it's been extremely helpful. So thank you for everything you've done in helping with this conversation.
Thank you for watching this flashback episode with NAAIA. We appreciate your time and hope you found the insights valuable. Stay tuned for more enriching content. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the NAAIA community.